Post your comments. We would love to read them a little bit later on. Well, as this is Endometriosis Awareness Month, we thought what better time to invite along our women's health specialist, Dr Anil Sharma. Greetings, how are you?
Very good, thanks, Jeanette. Thank you,
Do you pay lovely compliments to women?
Yeah, I've got 4 women at home. I've got my wife and 3 daughters. Yeah, all the time. It's usually they look gorgeous, but more often with the girls, it's how well they've behaved, so they get pecking orders.
It's always a good one, isn't it? Reinforcing the good behaviour.
Absolutely, yeah.
So endometriosis, what is it for the uninitiated?
Okay, so I mean, the endometrium is the lining of the uterus. So anyone who's got a uterus and who's premenopausal sheds their lining every month, and we call that a period. So when little bits of that lining are outside the uterus, so they're existing in the pelvis and on the ovaries and behind the uterus, or very rarely in distant places like the nostrils and the lungs, they bleed every month as well, because the hormones that make the period
Sorry,
happen.
Doc, you turned over a couple of pages at once there for me.
Yeah.
How does your uterus lining end up in your nose?
Well, we think what happens... No, we're not going to go there. We think what happens is that as we develop, as women develop, like when they're the size... when an individual woman is the size of a jelly bean, the cells that have formed in the pregnancy to create that new life move to take up different positions. So those cells have got the potential to become anything they like. So what we think happens is some of those cells don't make it to where they should go, to their final destination, and they lie in wait. And then something later on in life, whether it's environmental, chemicals, or genetics, or heredity, or something like that, triggers them, and they suddenly decide they're going to be lining of the womb cells.
Whoa.
You asked.
That's serious stuff.
So you can get it on your lungs, you can get it, I mean, there are cases, they're very rare, thankfully, of women who get monthly nosebleeds.
Gosh. So how serious is it as a condition, endometriosis, for women?
It's very serious. It creates a lot of issues for women, personal problems, pain, pain on intercourse, and difficulty getting pregnant, pain on opening your bowels. And for society, it creates a huge problem too, because, of course, women end up having to have time off work, and the economy of the country suffers, relationships suffer, family life suffers.
So I'm thinking if you've got it, you're going to want to do something about it. What do most people do? What's the root of...
You do want to do something about it, and in New Zealand we're very lucky. We've got a fantastic group called NZ Endo. So their website's www.nzendo.co.nz, and they do a lot of very good work about educating everyone and telling everyone about endometriosis. The danger, I think, of course, is that we can go too far the other way as well. We can start surgically doing loads of stuff we shouldn't be doing. So just to answer your question, there are, if in mild disease, or even women who've just got heavy painful periods who haven't got endo, we can treat them with relatively simple things like the combined oral contraceptive and simple painkillers. When it gets to a certain point, though, those drugs don't tend to help. And if this ultrasound scan that we arrange shows that the endometriosis has affected the ovaries as well and created these things called chocolate cysts, which I'll tell you about in a minute, then we have to do something surgical. So what we do is something called a laparoscopy. You put a little telescope in through the belly button under anaesthetic, and through keyhole surgery you try and destroy the disease.
How successful is it?
About 80% of women get fantastic results. About 1 in 3 of those 80%, it can come back within 5 years. Yeah.
So you're genetically, predisposed to this condition, basically?
It's one of these things that we call a multifactorial disease. So there's a bit of genetics, a bit of what you've inherited, a bit to do with the environment. We don't know what yet. All sorts of chemicals have been blamed, including dioxins. So toxins, we think it's to do with just the fact that it's there as well. That's the other annoying thing about it. A lot of women have got it when you do other operations for other reasons, and it's not actually causing them any symptoms at all. So there'll be a group of women who've got some endometriosis with no symptoms whatsoever. It's a very enigmatic, annoying problem. You can have a little bit and severe problems. You can have severe amounts and no problem. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier it can cause problems in trying to conceive. I've got a girlfriend who was told she would never have a baby, but she did.
I've got a lot of patients who tell me that, and we all do, I guess all doctors. I have never told anyone that they will never conceive. until they're either postmenopausal or they've had their uterus removed.
Yeah.
Because it's not that, never say never, you know, and there's a lot of women around who've been told that, and I'm pleased to say that modern doctors don't really do that sort of thing anymore, because you end up looking like a fool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Are there things that you can do yourself in terms of managing any pain? And
Absolutely, yeah. So what I was talking about earlier on with things like toxins, even though we don't know which toxins, in general terms, I think we should all be trying to live healthier lives. I myself went to see a nutritionist earlier this week, even though I'm ultra fit, and was advised about all the really bad things I should cut out. And
like what? What are the top three?
I can't drink tea without sugar.
Right.
I mean, I don't see the point. So I now have given up tea.
Okay.
Because I can't.
You'd rather do
sugar.
that than just no sugar.
I've got to have raspberry tea now, you know, or green tea.
Yep.
And just eating a bit more healthily, eating natural foods, avoiding preservatives, additives. Avoiding things like sugar additives, you know, substitutes, I mean. Taking regular exercise. Exercise gives us all a great deal of benefits. It makes us feel better. It gives us a lot higher pain tolerance. We can tolerate stress better. Things like physiotherapy, visiting a physiotherapist who can teach you how to have better pelvic floor muscles. It's really a multifactorial approach. And even, you know, doctors traditionally have scoffed at things like acupuncture, but even things like acupuncture can help. And I say to all my patients that anything you want to try is fine. It pays to have an open mind, as long as it doesn't harm you. And, you know, Mahatma Gandhi once said that it's good to have an open mind, but not so open that your brains fall out.
Right.
So
fair enough, good advice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming in, Anil. Lovely to see you.
No, thank you. Nice to see you both.
Superb.
Just want to clear up one thing very quickly.
Yeah.
Chocolate cysts, not made of chocolate.
No.
Oh,
Great.
we didn't get there. Another day.
Another day.
Like sebaceous cysts, maybe?
No.
No.
A lot nicer looking than sebaceous cysts.
OK. Thank you.
Well, there's lots of support and advice available for you out there if you are suffering from endometriosis. For more, you can visit our website at tvnz.co.nz/Good Morning.
Don't go away, because next